you today. We're going to be looking at something in a different way. We've done the colors. If you've seen over the last year or several years, we've gone through the uh, all of the color chart. We've done that from buff titanium all the way through the blacks. We've done it by groups, whether it was perylines, pyrroles, quinacridones. We've done it by started doing it by opacity. So a number of ways. What I thought we would do now, and I'm going to show you a couple things on the screen, is doing it by dot card. Because I'm asked a lot about the dot cards. How do the brand ambassadors pick them, for example? What makes them special? And I watched Michael Solove in Germany do his presentation and talk about his dot card and why he picked those colors. He talked about how he used those colors. So I think I'll go for a basis as we go through these alphabetically. I'm going to ask the artist who's doing the dot card or has the dot card to spend maybe 5 minutes of why they picked the colors. It's always, I think, very difficult to pick 18 colors out of 266. And yet they seem to always be able to do it. So I think that might open up some interesting ideas for you. So I'm going to show you where these are at, so you'll always be ahead of the game. Ethel, can I just share my screen?
Oh, yes, John. I'm able to share screen now.
Can I do it from here?
Yeah. So you just hit the share screen button
Yep.
from one of the buttons below at the bottom.
Share. Okay.
It's
Okay.
loading.
Okay. Your screen sharing. Yeah. So you have to tell me when you see it because it's already up on my side. Can you see it on your side?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the main Daniel Smith page. Let me go back to home. So this is the main Daniel Smith page. And to make it easy on myself, I created here under community, weekly live demos, John's resources. The main things I talk about when I'm doing presentations around the world. What we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at under resources, going down to dot card finder. And this will allow you to see every dot card that we have. You could flip through them like this if you want. You could also go right here and choose a color. Say we chose how about burnt sienna? And it'll show you all the dot cards that have burnt sienna. So these are all the dot cards that have burnt sienna. Another way to do it is to come over here and you could just choose any brand ambassador. For Angela's online right now, and she's like right up here in the
Yes.
top. I'm just going to do Angela for a second. Click on Angela, and these are all of Angela's colors on her dot card.
Yep.
So that's a fast way to do it. You could also go to this, and I see Angela right there, but you could flip and say, where's Angela? And go to hers. And if you go to these little dots right here, you can actually print out this and you get, I'll show you what you get. Let's see which one is this one. So you'd get the dot card right here, would print out. So the first has all their colors, and this is their story right here, and along with links for Facebook, email, societies, etc. Okay, so this is what we're going to be going over for the next while. There's actually quite a while. There's almost 80 brand ambassadors. So what you'll see here, if you print this out yourself, is you can see the characteristics. So for example, the phthalo green red shade, you can see if I can open it up here. There we go. You can see it's a one, so it's a 100+ years, and it's very staining. It's a 4, so it's extremely staining. It does not granulate, and it's transparent. So these are the characteristics that we're going to look at as we go through these dots on the brand ambassador's dot card. And I think what I'll endeavor to do is have the brand ambassador either give us a small little video, because sometimes it's the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning for them, and either ask them to be live, they can be live, or a small little video where they talk about how they picked their colors, why they were important, etc. And then we as a group, the other brand ambassadors and we will paint out these colors and show you some of their characteristics. Probably some of my favorite, this one has some of my favorites. Lunar Black is a favorite. Cascade Green is as well. But let's go back to a goose, who's the first one we're going to be doing. And now it's going to figure out how to make it small again. I don't know how to make it small again, so I will just do this and restart it. There we go. So there we have a goose. So we're going to look at a goose's colors today. A goose is a brand ambassador out of Indonesia. He has some of the most colorful work. It's abstract. Much of it's abstract. It's huge work. He uses huge strokes when he does his paintings. He does them out of Bali, so it's really interesting to watch a goose work. And I may ask a goose to give us a small video next week so we can catch up with him before we do Alex for next week. Okay, so with that, we're going to start playing with the colors. And I'm going to go back here. So we see that a goose uses a lot of transparent colors. I mean, transparent, 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 transparent. That's a lot of transparent colors. It'd be interesting to hear his story. Usually people choose a lot of transparency when they do a lot of glazing. So that would be very interesting to understand how this helps him do his artwork. Cascade Green is an awesome color. It's a co-precipitating color. Cobalt Teal Blue is, we can actually put Cobalt Teal Blue here and see how many artists use it. I'm going to think a lot of the brand ambassadors use Cobalt Teal Blue. So Cobalt Teal Blue. Yeah, I would say it's pretty popular. It's a pretty popular color. So today, Giovanni has it on his list. Mark, who's on today, has it on his. Rajat, who's on today, has it on his. Yeah, so quite popular. So for the brand ambassadors watching right now, why is Cobalt Teal Blue important to you?
Me? Me? Okay. It's important for me because one of this blue, this cobalt teal, is perfect for range after the blue line to arrive the warm line, and for mixing, for example, for mixing in this type, it's very interesting for create a brown and gray range.
Okay.
I
Rajat?
choose
Yes.
I choose cobalt teal blue because of the typical Indian weather. In the mostly in the sea and sky, we do use along with the cobalt teal blue and permanent orange. I mean, it gives me a perfect combination for that. So I do use ultramarine blue and all, but primarily cobalt teal blue I majorly use in the water and the sky areas. So that's the reason I've chosen that cobalt teal blue.
Very nice.
Thank you, Rajat. This is Anna Marie Stephenson, and I find cobalt teal blue is perfect for the sunlight. It's a prismatic color. So the sunlight hitting an object, cobalt blue teal is perfect straight from the tube for catching that visual experience. Thanks.
Does that mean, Anna Marie, that you use it as a mass tone, or do you mix it with water to let it down?
Either or both.
Okay.
And I have also seen it very effectively, teals being used in portraiture for the light hitting the structure of your face.
Cool.
An example historically of that would be Matisse with the lady with the green stripe on her face.
I've seen that work. It's a beautiful work. Okay. All right.
John,
So
John,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. This is
No, go
Buffy.
ahead.
I
Hello, Buffy.
Hi. I almost put that one on my dot card. It was really hard not to because it's an important color in my work. But what I use it for is to splatter into wet washes. Some colors, when you splatter them, they kind of stick and they don't disperse as much as others. And cobalt teal is a really great one. And I agree with Rajat. The cobalt teal just mirrors orange colors so beautifully. So if you have orange in a painting, the cobalt teal is just a wonderful accompaniment to that color.
Buffy, do you have both the cobalt teal blue and the pyro orange with you today?
I do.
Can you show us maybe that effect?
Oh, yeah. Let me get ready and I'll come right back.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And Rajat, do you have them as well? You're on mute, Rajat.
Yes, I can, so like.
So can you show us as well?
Yeah, just a second.
But yeah, take your time.
John, do you want me
Yes.
to release the share screen so that we could have, do you want Rajat's frame and Buffy's frame on?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
So I hope it is visible here. So this is my dot card. So primarily I was restricted with a couple of colors, like 25 to 30 odd colors. But presently, last couple of years, I'm using, I think, 266 colors, all the colors, because the subject which I've chosen, mostly all the colors been used. In my dot card, there are primarily, so 20 out of 21 colors, I've got around 15 odd Primatic. So I love Primatic colors. And if you see that, the cobalt teal blue, like, as I said, it gives me that typical Indian sky. And the permanent orange, the fresh.
Try that too.
So that's how. this is the main reason I have chosen cobalt teal blue for that, in India. So these sort of the colors you'll get to see mostly in the sky.
Very cool.
Right, like this. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you.
Thank
Can you
you.
send it a little bit more, Rajat, so we can see it, the whole work? Very nice.
And this is my dot card.
Awesome. Thank you, Rajat.
Thank you. Thank you.
John, do
Yeah.
the brand ambassadors choose where the individual colors go on their dot cards, or do you choose where they go?
You know, we usually choose where it goes. But if the brand ambassador said, "Oh, I'd like him to go into this order," that'd be no problem. We would do that too. And Buffy, how about you?
Okay, I think I'm ready. I was gonna say my dot card, I was fortunate that I was able to get them in a specific order that I use it as a teaching guide. So thank you for doing that. So I'm just gonna wet a little square here and I'll put some different colors on it. How about some shiny best friends, some bronzite, to get a nice neutral down so you can see how those colors work. They're great for a color pop. What about a little raw sienna? Let's just go down the list here. A little sepia, little Payne's gray, and a little lunar blue. So you can have a nice wet, if you poured or you're doing a wet on wet kind of painting. And then normally when you splatter a color in it, it might move and really spread out. So you have to be careful what you're splattering in it. But with the cobalt teal, see how it kind of just sticks? So it'll blend out a little bit, but not to the point where it'll take over. Like if you do the same thing with a phthalo color, for instance, it can spread and then all of a sudden it can alter your whole painting. And then these little, the Perione orange and the Pyro orange also will kind of stick in place. So you can see how you can really add some beauty. Let me see if I can fix my lighting a little bit. Where you could see it just doesn't spread out as much as the others. It's really pretty. I love to use the oranges. And I do a lot of desert painting too. So these two colors look really great in more of the desert scene. So the thicker you put it on as well, the more it'll stick in place. There we go. Isn't that pretty?
It's very
I
nice.
have a follow-up question. Buffy, you've done such a nice example of showing us the movement of the pigment in liquid. And as a watercolorist, understanding and knowing and the praxis of that is so important for us. I was wondering if, John, if you could explain the why. As an artist, we see that it happens and we know how to exploit it and dance with it. But I'd love to, if you're willing to share a little bit more about the why, using more of the science and chemistry behind it, because that always helps me be a better artist, because then I can apply it in new situations. Thanks.
So I was going to show you. I was going to show you today, but I think I'll show you next week. Because I watched it being done on a science show, and I thought you really would all like it as well to see the effect. The effect is surface tension. So how one invades another, if it has a higher surface tension, it can push around the other colors around it. If it has a weaker surface tension, it can be invaded. If it has the same surface tension, they tend not to move. So the idea is, what is the surface tension? Surface tension can change dramatically. For example, if you put a soap or a surfactant, you decrease the surface tension, and then stuff can really move really freely. That's a flow releaser. Probably not what you want to do. So sometimes when and again, there's a creative thing about adding stuff, and I think that's a beautiful thing. It takes a long time to kind of understand how colors work together, and that can always change with watercolor depending on how much water you're using, right? And that's why watercolors, I think, is probably one of the most difficult mediums. It's a beautiful medium. I think it's one of the most difficult ones because there's so many variables. Somebody asked me if I could create a list to say what the surface tension of each pigment was. It would be extremely, if not impossible, beyond difficult, because it can change with how much water you're using. If you're using any other things along with it, you can change the surface tension. Surface tension is what, if you've ever seen a mosquito walk on water, it's because of surface tension. That it doesn't go through. If you were tricky enough and you could put just a little drop of dish soap by the mosquito, down it would go because you'd break the surface tension. And that's what I'll show you next week. But that's what the whole bloom thing is. It's all about surface tension.
John, I've done this experiment with some soap, liquid soap that Sylvia shared with me. And it's actually like this. The color just moves away. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you're breaking the surface tension.
Okay. And I think also, is it possible that the paper, according to the paper, if you use hot pressed, it has less surface tension, and if you use rough, then it has more surface tension?
It probably deal more with absorbency than surface tension. So, and that's the interesting thing about watercolors. That's a great thing you brought up, Angela. There's just so many different variables. So you can have different absorption levels depending on the sizing that's being used on the paper itself, whether it's internally sized or it's externally sized. Just lots of variables. It's what makes it, I think, a very interesting medium, and you guys play with it so very, very, very well. So, but I'll show you next week the surface tension. It's really kind of cool to watch. It really drives that point home.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
I also found that you can get a similar effect with a lot of the colors that are granulating if you just apply them thickly. So if you have like a tea consistency wash and then you put a thicker consistency water to paint ratio, it'll stick usually. So if I get some transparent red oxide and put it on thick enough, but see how it spreads farther than, so some of them will spread farther than others. And I just found the cobalt teal and the orange to kind of hold in place. But if you want a similar effect with the colors you have on hand, just put it on really thick, and lots of fun to play with. Now I have to think of something to put on here.
That's cool. Yeah, I think it's a really good thing, Buffy, in that certain pigments like lunar black, if they're super, super small, they can also move very, very quickly and expand out very, very quickly. So now you have not only the size of the particle, you have the surface tension as well, and also the thickness. And that's the neat thing about watercolors. There's just so many variables. It makes it.
And then you add a slight tilt to the board, and that adds another dynamic.
Yeah.
Or a little spray of water. Ooh.
A spray of water would do it, yeah. If you spray too much water, that's really neat. 'Cause sometimes I'll hear comments and read comments that people send in, and they'll say, your ultramarine really granulates so much. And it doesn't granulate so much as when they're taking their brush, they're taking in water, they're then taking up the pigment, which now is here. When they push it down, the pigment touches first, and then it's washed with all the water behind it, which really undoes the process of making paint. So you're now pushing all the particles all over the place. So it's it's just all the things you guys learn over time. It's an incredible medium.
It is. Thank you, John.
Oh, yes, you're very welcome. Buffy, thank you for showing that. Rajat, thank you for showing yours. Okay, so what other ones how about when it comes to transparency? A
Thank
goose
you,
has
John.
lots. Oh, you're very welcome. A goose has lots of transparent colors. I mean, a lot of his palette is transparent. What would make you guys choose so many transparent colors?
For me, it's luminosity. So to be able to have the white of the paper bounce back the light, it just creates such a luminosity to your work. Like for me, I paint pets, I paint a lot of animals, and in the eyes specifically, I want transparency because I want those eyes to really pop and shine.
Very cool.
Yeah, for me, it is like, while doing a watercolor, I mean, even I do in gouache also, I love to keep the transparency in my work, because that's the most challenging, as you said, John, very rightly. The watercolor is one of the most challenging medium, and
Yeah.
to keep that transparency requires certain amount of control in your wrist, and that's how we are creating the difference between among us. So that's the reason I try to maintain the transparency, whichever the way. Even if I'm doing oil painting, I do keep certain amount of, because the amount of transparent watercolor which I did till now. So whether I'm using gouache or any other medium also, so I somehow continue with that transparency. I love that.
Very nice, Rajat.
Thank
I
you.
was just looking at, this is the phthalo yellow green that is on a goose's dot card, and I will show you that it is highly staining. It's a highly staining color.
May I say something?
Of course.
That
Yeah.
color is my ultra favorite color from your brand. It's my, oh my God. I mean, I love it. So I really like Talos, but that green is, oh, I love it.
So I'd like to ask you a question. I watched Linda out of San Diego, who's a brand ambassador, and she uses phthalos. And so when you use phthalos, knowing how staining, they're like the life of the party. They're so brilliant. They make everybody know they've arrived. But you can't get rid of them because they stain so much. So how do you use them?
I clean up my palette with a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and it'll 99% of the time take it off, even off of the watercolor paper, to lift it.
Okay, so yeah, she was doing something she called it beating them up. She kind of put them into submission using all the phthalos. A good portion of her art is the phthalos. They are beautiful. They are really super. I mean, they're just super bright.
I think working with the phthalos gives you a lot of courage. You're a sniper. You hit it once and you do it perfectly. And if you don't, then you come back with another sheet of paper and do it again. It just gives you a huge amount of courage.
Or titanium white ground.
I love the phthalos. They're on a lot of them. I love all the staining colors, because especially when you do a lot of wet or watercolor pouring, you need that really strong, powerful color, because it gets muted with the water on the paper. But Maria Vasquez put a beautiful comment. She said that, oh, where did it go? She said, or Veronica Vasquez, I apologize. She said, in Mexico's mythology, the meaning of this combination means the earth and the sky together. So it is so nice to use it. And I think she was referring to the orange and the teal. And so, John, if I could show just one more thing, I found the painting I wanted to show.
Yeah.
That kind of goes with her comment.
Ethel, could you spotlight that, please?
Sorry. there.
So
Oh,
here's an
yeah.
example of the teal
Oh,
used
wow.
as, you know, not just splattered. You can see where I've splattered it, but you can also see where I was able to use just a very limited palette, but have very powerful color by using the cobalt, teal, and orange together. Really pretty color combination. Thank you.
Buffy, I really like how, if you'll slide that over a little bit so we can see the other piece behind it.
Oh, yes.
What I really like is how you took what you did a while ago, showing what the colors do, and then you moved to a finished piece of artwork. And that shows the creativity of the colors you've chosen to create a very, very, very powerful image. So thank you for that.
Hey, Rick, thank
Yeah.
you.
That's nice, Rick. Yeah, that's
Buffy,
very
I
nice.
want
so
that for my art room. Those are the colors in my art room.
Thank you guys. Yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah. Out here in
So
the desert, we
the-
get these little plants growing up out of the boulders. They're a lot of fun to paint.
Yeah.
But Buffy,
So
you
this was the scribble which I was doing, you know, typical Indian landscape, which I just did a, you know, doodling with that, which I was showing that, you know, the sky is always, as I said, cobalt teal blue, you know, that's the reason. And the earth color, like brown, burnt umber, burnt sienna, raw sienna, Indian red, these are the colors mostly, I mean, the landscape of India has got. So this is the what which I did.
Beautiful. Ooh, can we see that one spotlighted? Can we see Rajat's?
Sure. Ethel, can you spotlight Rajat, please?
Wow, that's gorgeous. So
Oh.
beautiful.
Thank you, dear.
Rajat, is that one you just started? Or is that a finished piece from something else?
I didn't get you. Come again, sir?
Is that an older piece?
No. Just now I did it.
Just now.
Very nice.
Which yeah, just the thing which I was showing you. I made this cobalt teal blue
Sky,
and
yeah.
orange. And
It's
Yeah,
going
this one.
fast.
Nice, Rajat.
Fast.
Thank you.
Very awesome.
Beautiful lines.
So beautiful.
Mm.
And I see
Wonderful.
Rick is doing a masterpiece.
well,
Thank you, John.
You're very welcome.
what I would like
Yeah.
to show, these are my, I'm waiting on my dot card to be printed, but these are my colors here. And this is a painting that I had done earlier. But I want you to see how from here to here, how they really work. And you were talking, John, earlier about the transparency. I think pretty much my favorite of all is quinacridone gold. And I discovered it early. And then I go with the transparency of the quinacridone gold to the quinacridone deep, and then quinacridone burnt orange. They all seem to work so well together. And then the sepia up here, and then the undersea green, how they tend to work. And then this is the white, titanium white, as it's still wet. But I really love how these colors painting my loose landscapes sort of really, the paint tells what the painting needs to be. And that's
Gorgeous. It's
and-
looking gorgeous.
why, thank you. But, and then I use these rectangular shapes just to break up this space. And in the South, we have a lot of these structures that are just sort of wearing out and they're dilapidated, but it adds a good geometric look. And it breaks the space up from very loose to a little bit tighter, and your eye is focusing on here. And then I lay in these beautiful blues, and it just is a contrast. So this is a combination of these colors. And the more you experience or experiment with them and let the colors do what they will do, you will start seeing how you can be very effective. And in these areas here, I had taped it off white or use masking here. And then at the end, I take the masking off and just lay in these quinacridone golds and deep golds and cyan. It just really makes the painting work very well. So thanks, John, for showing this.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very beautiful, Rick.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
So nice.
So beautiful.
and you know, having all the colors to work with, wow, blows my mind. We have so much to do. And John, what we need you behind every one of us as we paint. So you know all the colors and what they do. So you need to say, now Rick is doing this. And when he puts these colors together, this is what happens.
I love that.
Anyway, thanks for this opportunity.
Oh, of course. Very cool. And I see Sabina. Sabina, what are you working on?
Your mic is off,
Hello,
Sabina.
John. Yes,
Okay,
I
there.
see. Hello, everybody. I'm just working on some colors for the seasons, and I chose my color card to create all seasons, to create spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And so I took the colors together to make and to show the seasons. And here I mix the colors from my card. There is Quina Gold, and here I have the ultramarine, turquoise, and that's the spring colors. And I have some greenish, that's the green gold too. And here it's the opera pink. And I start with the summer, opera pink, a little bit scarlet, anthraquinoid scarlet. Pronounce, is that a right? Say it right? Anthraquinoid scarlet, yes. And that's King's Royal Blue. And that is a mix with the aureoline and the sap green. And here just summer needs a little bit violet. That's the Quina purple. And the autumn begins with Quina purple. So I end in summer. I end in spring with the opera pink and started the summer with the opera pink. I end with the Quina purple and start the autumn with Quina purple. I don't know why I do, but I think it's, for me, it's normal. And I chose the Quina Redone Gold. Oh no, that's the Aussie Red Gold for autumn. And it's I go in the anthraquinoid scarlet with the, I make a mix, and I have the aureoline, and then I mix the brown with the Aussie Red Gold and Cobalt Blue. And so I have my autumn colors. And then we go in the cool winter. So I have the Cobalt Blue, lavender, and the turquoise, the ultramarine turquoise. And I mix it again, a gray with the cobalt blue and a little bit from the Aussie Red Gold and a little bit from the green to have the gray. And I can show you on little pictures. You see, you can.
Oh yeah, yeah.
See it, it's just from my color card. And
Wow.
there's autumn.
Oh, that's nice.
Summer. Summer. And where's the winter? I have winter too. And this is a summer evening. And let's be October. And I have the winter. I have the winter somewhere. I must look. Yeah. And here I have winter
Yeah.
time.
Very nice. Very nice.
And I have on Instagram, I have every Wednesday and Thursday, yes, a blog. It called Peel Tree with Tree. And I always chose 3 colors from my color card. And I make a color card, a mix card from the colored. There is Aussie Red Gold, Quina Pink, and Lavender. And you see the mixes, it's an excellent brown and a nice violet and orange. And here you see the whole mix card in big. And the picture is Thursday. It comes a picture from that colors. And I have much mixes with them. When you want to see it, I can show it all.
Awesome. Thank you, Sabina. It's very nice.
Thank you to show.
So the interesting thing is some of the colors that Goose has picked, the Indanthrone blue is actually one of the darkest colors that we have. Because remember, when you're doing watercolors, how much of the white can you hide? And it hides a huge amount. It's only slightly less than lamp black. So it's a unbelievable coverage of that pigment. I did want to show you something real quick before we come back and see everybody else's work, since you're all working. I appreciate that very much. Ethel, can I share the screen one more time?
Sure, you share. You can just click on the share screen, John,
Okay,
from your end.
got it.
Okay.
So the one thing that you can also do, which is kind of interesting, so we can see here different artists, their dot card, and read about them, read about their web page, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And you can also come back and go to the C Lab. And let me move all of your artwork to the side here. You can come to search and come down to here where it's dot card. And we'll, for example, we're going to look at, we've been looking at a goose, but just really quick, since she's right here, we're looking at Angela's. So I'm going to click on Angela's, and it's going to transfer those over to the main area over here. And so I could actually look to see how many of Angela's colors, for example, I could see how many are the warmest, how many of them are the coolest. I can further, since there's only 20 of them, I can choose as many as I want to choose. I just say add to compare. So I'm only going to choose 4, but you can choose them all if you wanted to do so. And then I'm going to come over and do compare. And now what I can do is I can look at all the colors. I can do up to 20, and I can look at all the colors the brand ambassador has picked for their dot cards. I can see how they relate to one another. I can see their names. I can see what the pigment is. For example, this is PO48. The original quinacridone was PO49, so this is a replacement because that original is no longer made. The staining, the granulating, I can certainly see in the lunar black and here very granulating colors. The light fastness, and then if there's a complement, along with the graphed values. If you want to do those, you could probably do them in your head. But an L73 means it's a very bright color. So these are all very bright colors. This one, not so much, 50. But these are very bright with a light value of 73. Hansa, for example, will be a light value of almost 90 something. It's extremely bright colored. So it's just a way that if you wanted to learn more information, it's as far as you want to go. You can just learn more and more and more. You could always just double click on this Agus's or Angela's, and it would tell you a story about it. So you can see it's co-precipitated. And the neat thing is, and this is something that Giovanni helps out with greatly, and Letizia, they do these side by side. So you can see here's lunar blue, the color that we were looking at, and here's other ones that might be of interest to you. So you can follow it as much as you want to follow it and learn as much as you want to learn. It's a really interesting tool. You can also watch a small video as well. Okay. So Ethel, can we leave that and go back to
Okay.
please? Okay. And now, Giovanni, are you working on anything?
Okay. Okay, I try this, for example, John, to explain my rust effect from my painting under the seven, do you remember? And my palette is I divided to my palette from cool, warm, and undertones. My cool color is blue apatite, lunar blue and cascade, jadate, cobalt teal, and Mayan blue genuine. The warm, not pain, okay, but the warm range and the undertone range. Three my favorite for undertone is neutral tint and banding brown and lunar black. For example, I create this perfect mixing. And using the cobalt teal, for example, in the rust effect for the lightening, the cascade green lightening in this mode. And my cascade, I use in my palette a huge number of semi-transparent color. For example, in this case, this is cascade green. For the lighting, don't remove in this case, but I use cobalt teal. And apply the little part of cobalt teal and create this effect when I'm drying. And for the warming on the rust effect, I use the quinacridone gold, but it's transparent, and apply a little part and create the shade of warm green. And for creating the undertone, one of the best, the semi-transparent is neutral tint. And in this case, for example, I'm working very fast, but when I created the rust effect, I used not this brush, but this type and created my color layer and layer and layer. And show, for example, this color in my original painting. I take my phone. And
Very nice.
This is cascade. And the first layer, this is cobalt teal, for example, for the light in cascade. And in this side, don't use the cascade, but the jadate. And this is use the neutral tint for undertone and banding brown in this part for create the effect. My suggestion when create your favorite palette, divide in three sets: cool, warm, and undertone. Thank you, John.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm going to go to Angela because I know Angela was doing something too.
Yes. Hi, John.
There we go.
I'm swatching the colors in my dot card, and the lines here are to separate the colors when I lift it. Here, for my dot card, I see my reason for choosing these colors is because I like colors that are bright. I am more concerned, not so many for not so much for technical reasons, but because I like the shine of the colors. And if you realize, I have 3 phthalos. This is phthalo turquoise, and this is phthalo green blue shade, and phthalo blue here. Well, at that moment, I thought I wanted phthalos. Maybe I would choose other colors, not so many phthalos, but I love these. And many of them are complementary to each other. Like this is the ultramarine, rose of ultramarine, and it is complementary with this pink and the moon glow. So and so one of the reasons was these brightness and shine of the colors, but the other, I'm very, very captivated by the granulation. So here I've chosen many granulating colors. If you see this lunar blue, look at this lunar blue, how it is granulating. It is an incredible, and this for me is fascinating. I don't know why it is, but I like this very much. And so if I can show you, if I can share, for example, this painting, you see the effect of the blue here. You said that your blue didn't granulate, but look at this, how it granulates. It is incredible here in. It is together with the cobalt teal blue, but it granulates incredibly. And if I can show another example of how I use these colors in finished painting. So here you can see using many of the colors in my dot card. You see the ultramarine blue and the pink. I like the opera pink together with the quinacridone gold. It combines very well. And so yes, these bright colors, pyrrole red, pyrrole orange, and ultramarine blue is like explosion of colors. And this is not all the time, but I like these colors because they are so powerful and they go so well with each other. I connect a lot with Augus's palette because I like his expressivity and his abstract paintings. So yeah, some of the colors maybe we have chosen the same. I don't know, but I think that opera pink. I know that opera pink is a fugitive color, but I like it. I cannot help using it. So, and the other last thing is that when you use the this is the color of the Mediterranean Sea. You can make this color with the phthalo blue green shade and phthalo blue red shade. So then you get this beautiful like color of our Mediterranean Sea.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's I have 2, another small one, and the other one is more powerful.
Awesome.
I cannot find it now, but this is, thank you for making these such beautiful colors that give us so much joy and so much, it's like they help us express what we have, the feelings that we have. And thank you so much, John.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
And I would like playing with this right here. This is the Imperial Purple. It's just a really pretty color. Way more intense here in front of me than on the screen. On the screen, it has more of a bluish to it, but here it's truly purple. It's really nice. Neat. Let me see one more view.
John, I would love to share how I came up with my colors.
Sure.
Is that Imperial Purple? Sorry.
This is, I'm sorry, this is Imperial Purple. Yes, right
Oh,
here.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes.
Ashley.
No, you're good. I love that color. So my dot card I specifically made for my pet portraits. So I paint everything, but my commission work and how I make money is through pet portraits commissions. And so when I was given the honor of coming up with my 18 colors, which was really hard, as you guys can probably imagine, what I ended up doing was, luckily, I keep a sketchbook of all the, like every time I'm gonna do a painting, sorry, this is the wrong sketchbook, this sketchbook. So every time I do a commission, I pull out a sketchbook and I plan ahead of time. So, I kind of like swatch out, I play around, I see what mixes we can get. So this one, for example, was for this dog that I painted. Sorry about the glare. I should take the plastic off. There you go. So yeah, so I plan out my paintings. So over time, I have a huge collection. So this was a buffalo I painted on watercolor ground. This was another dog that I did. And I'm starting to notice some similarities. I'm starting to notice some colors that I'm using over and over again. So here's two different pet portraits that I did. I've got neutral tint, Payne's gray. These are some colors that are coming up again and again. I'll skip there. Here's another one. And so you can see I started to have patterns emerge. Burnt umber, Van Dyke brown, Payne's gray, Piemontite, Potter's pink. And so when I was asked to come up with my colors, I actually ended up just pulling out this sketchbook and then I made a list. Where is it? Where's my list? So here's my list. It was madness, you guys, madness, trying to come up with these colors. And so I wrote down all the ones that kept coming up, crossed out ones that I felt like I wouldn't need. And so if you're into pet portraits, these are some of the colors that I have really found to be useful. So, for example, these are my colors. So these two, actually probably these three. So we've got Piemontite, Minnesota Pipestone, and Potter's Pink. These are great tongue and nose colors. So here's one. So this is actually our dear Ethel's dog. I painted her dog Moonglow for her. We've got Piemontite coming up in these color variations in the nose. Start to see that. Here is, I actually did this one for my demo with Daniel Smith. So here in the mouth, you've got Piemontite. And then also I wrote on here eyes for Potter's Pink. So the white of the eye is never white. That's one of the things that I've learned over time. And so that's Potter's Pink to give you that kind of bloodshot look. Same with this one. So Potter's Pink, because of the granulation, it's perfect for getting that like bloodshot eye look. Yeah. And then neutral tint, that's what I use instead of black. So neutral tint is such a great versatile color. So I don't use black, just because I feel like it kind of flattens things out for me. Some artists disagree, and that is totally okay. But for me, neutral tint, if I need to warm it up, I'm gonna probably add some quinacridone burnt orange. Or if I want to make another shade of brown, as you can see, I have a couple browns on here. But if I want to create something that has a little more variation to it, I can take neutral tint. There we go. And quinacridone burnt orange, and I can come up with something different.
Awesome.
And then I needed to add, so I'm always needing to come up with like blue or purple or orange or green. And so I added, my favorite yellow is nickel azo yellow. And then I've got ultramarine blue because it's just so versatile. I can use it for so many things. But here I can come up with some really awesome greens using those two colors. So I have my primaries. I have nickel azo yellow. This is quinacridone red, which is more of a magenta. And when you add a little bit of nickel azo yellow to it, you can start getting some deeper reds. So Yeah, I think it's really fun hearing how people come up with their colors. And here's another one. So there's that neutral tint that's great for noses. It's great for eyes. Transparent yellow oxide. What else? There's another one that I just did. Whoop. There's that piemontite. It's so good for tongues.
That's
So
one of
good.
my, Ashley, that's
Yep.
one of my favorites of yours. The
Thank
eyes.
you.
The eyes
Thank
are just, he wants to play. I want to throw the ball for him. Super cute.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun to paint. Lots of neutral tint there in the nose. So yeah, a lot of fun colors for
Neutral
animals.
tint gets very, very dark.
It can, absolutely. And I believe I layered on this one quite a bit. I just kept layering until it got dark. So you would think I used black on this one, but that's just neutral tint.
Awesome.
Payne's Gray is another one that can get really dark.
I love the wet nose.
The nose is so wet, and you can tell he's just ready to jump in the mud. As a matter of fact, it's splashing around him.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, everybody. Veronica, thank you. I see yours. Thank you. Those are very colorful. Rick has done his. Buffy's. I saw she was drawing hers. Lori, I don't see yours. So next week, if you want, I'm glad to spotlight all of you and show your work. We'll be doing the next one in the list. I'll see if I can get a hold of the artist to have them either be on live with us or to do a small video. Because just as Ashley was saying, it's a really interesting to figure how people pick their colors. There's a whole thought process behind it, and it's just kind of interesting. And maybe with having an hour, we can do maybe two per meeting, which would be kind of interesting and nice. Any event, thank you all very, very, very much. I love spending time with you. I love seeing on my screen, I'm on page 1, I see all of your artwork, which is really awesome to see. So thank you very
John.
much. Hope you can join
John.
tomorrow.
Thank you, John.
Bye.
We're gonna have
Thanks all.
Jose
Thanks,
Herrera
John.
Gallegos tomorrow from Mexico.
Bye.
Ah, that's wonderful.
Thank
See you all.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Tomorrow.